I just seen a spider crawl across the stove. I'm gonna take care of that. Spiders, but I don't like them in the house. No, no, no! Ah! Now where'd you go? Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. I'm super pumped for what we have in store today. So we are going to be starting our sauerkraut journey for this year. We have 4 heads that we're going to take today, and then we're going to chop them up, and I'm going to show you guys the recipe that I follow to make a really great cabbage. I'm going to add some things to it, so hopefully that'll benefit us, and then we'll see how it turns out in the long run. Last year's batch turned out really good, but it wasn't as crunchy as I want sauerkraut to be. So we're going to go to the garden and chop up those cabbage heads. I'm really sad because they look really good in the garden, but I know it's time. They need to come out of the ground today. I can tell it's been a day or two since I've been out to the garden because there's so many things already going wrong. Like my watering system, I had it backwards. So my zinnias were getting watered every day, and my other stuff was getting watered every 3 days, and it should have been swapped. And because I had it backwards, it was facing this way, and it should have been facing this way. And then I have gophers, so I put the hose down the hole. I didn't see anything happen, and I got too scared, so I stopped. But I put a brick right there where his whole top is, and then just like hammered it down so he can't dig up now. But how about I dig on the other side of it? So whatever. So I'm all covered in dirt now because I was playing in the mud already. So anyway, let's get back to what we came here for. How much do you think they weigh a piece? Not a very good cabbage cam. So much dirt. Oh no. There's the hole. So I need to prep the heads. So from the recipe that I follow, she has just the heads. So we have to do like a few more steps to get to where the gal was, the video. Because I, like many of you, look to instructions on YouTube on how to do things because I can't do it myself. And also, this one gal's recipe I did last year, it's so good. So, I think I told you guys about it. Her name is Mary's Nest. Really good gal. Anyway, so we're gonna strip these few leaves and watch for earwigs because I imagine there's some sort of critter lying about. At this time and stage, I'd grab yourself a 3-gallon, 5-gallon bucket to put the leaves in, because they'll fill up your sink fast, and just throw it on the ground. And yeah. Okay, so we're going to take off the outer leaves and we're going to save them. We're going to set them aside for now. We're also kind of just get rid of any bad leaves that look like they're too damaged by bugs. Now that we've saved our outer leaves, I'll probably wash those and go through them one more time. We're going to cut our cabbage heads in half. You're supposed to take the core out, so it's just rather difficult to puncture actually. into an ER visit. Okay, so from here we're going to go and put our cabbage in a bowl. We have our pieces of cabbage, which we're still kind of going to inspect a little bit as I go. But we're going to start by slicing these. Kind of in thin pieces like this. And the best way to not cut yourself is have it in a claw shape. So if you cut, it's going down your nails, not your... And I kind of pick through this. Okay, so now that I took a half an hour to chop up all of our cabbage here, we have our big leaves that we set aside, and then we have this much chopped cabbage. So what we're going to do is we're going to take coarse salt. So this is pretty thick rock granules, and we're just going to sprinkle it in. She has a measured amount, which was 2 tablespoons, I believe, for each cabbage head. So I'm going to do 8 tablespoons of this salt. So, and then afterwards I'll take a masher like so, or a wooden spoon, the back of a ladle, or even like a round wooden pushy thing. So anyway, I'm going to measure this out, and then I'm going to put it on top, and then I'll mash it with this thing. Okay, so now that I have mashed my cabbage up a lot with the salt in it, it is like this consistency where it's more mashed down. This one might be a better representation, it's different in color. So I've done that part, and now you can take and you can add it in a half-gallon mason jar with a lid, or a gallon mason jar with a lid. They have old-fashioned pickle jars like this with the lids. I can't find this one, but you could use this one just fine. I did last year and it worked great. This year I've upgraded though. We have a 6-gallon bucket with a lid with a cork kind of piece to it. And then this is a plastic, I'm not sure, but it takes the fumes from the cabbage from fermenting and cycles it through here, and then brings it up to the top where it releases so there's no pressure built up in the container. So these are great. You can probably find them on a Facebook Marketplace, or if you look hard enough you might find one. Okay, hi, it's me, editing Kyra here. I just realized that the whole mechanism for the fermenting, like the little plastic piece, I still don't know the name of it, but it actually has a max fill line on it that I imagine you put water in and it does a bubble effect thing to help your things ferment. I just realized that, so do your research on it, your own personal research. I probably should have done that before filming this video or trying to attempt to mess with this bucket lid thingy-mabob. So, yeah, that's, I imagine it's a bubbler. take our kind of weird smelling blended mess and we're going to put this in our bucket of cabbage. Or jar, whatever you use. We're gonna find the biggest wood spoon you have, okay, and mix it. Okay, so we're gonna take our cabbage head leaves that we had, these extra ones, and we're gonna inspect them before we put them in there for sure. But then we're gonna lay them on top of this cabbage that we have in here, just as a little blanket, just so it's fully covered. Pushing down, that's kind of up on the sides. That's always a good thing. Just a nice layer of them. A couple levels of this, so it doesn't matter how many is stacked on it. What this is doing is creating not necessarily a seal, but a bacteria seal, you could say. Is through the week of fermentation process, or the 2 weeks, I think it is, had to look at it again. There's going to be bacteria possibly built up on the top, but that's fine because that's part of the fermentation process. So with that, you just got to clean up the top few leaves every time you notice it starting. For me, this bucket is big enough I can put a plate in. A plate like this. It could even be a bigger plate, but I don't want to sacrifice my cute plate, so I use specifically this gardening one. And I don't think it matters which way you put it, but this way just seems like it would make more sense to me, because that covers more surface area than this bottom part does. So with that, I'm going to take and fill up this to like water to here, so everything's fully covered, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, I just used a little sprayer from my sink to be putting the water in this, but as you can see there's some floaty things. That's okay, that's just going to happen. Even if you have a jar, it's really difficult to try and keep all the stuff from floating to the surface. In a jar, you can't fit a plate in there, but what I've also seen is your jelly jars. If you have a wide enough mouth, you can just hold your 2 fingers and put the jar inside the mouth of it. Last year I almost got one stuck. So what I've seen is they take springs. Think if you have a protein shake, you know that little wire spring thing that comes with the cup, you can put that thing in it. That would work great. Screw the lid on tight, it'll keep your cabbage pushed down to the bottom there. So what I did with the apple and the core was just make a sort of brine thing for it so it ferments and tastes really good. So I definitely wanted to do that again. Editing Kyra here. The sauerkraut actually didn't turn out because after I filmed this, that following 7 days, it was 100 for 2 or 3 days that week, and then it just wasn't good. So my sauerkraut actually ended up going bad, and then my second batch did a little better, and I ended up canning it and not recording it because I don't know where my mind has been the last couple weeks. So but I will do a separate video on how to can just in general, for just water bath canning. But yeah, I totally forgot to do like 2 of the 3 steps that I meant to do for this whole video. So I will film a separate video on how to can. Yeah. See how much it went down after I pushed on it? I could add more weight to it, but I think it's all fine. Most of the cabbage is under the surface, but all the sauerkraut below these big leaves is submerged, so that's what we want right there. So the best tips I can give you from this point on is that you want to keep it out of direct sunlight, and you want to keep it between 68 and 72 degrees. So somewhere in a cool part of your house, maybe your garage, maybe your living room, maybe by somewhere in the kitchen, in your laundry room, wherever you think it will stay in a consistent temperature. For me, this thing is super helpful, so I don't have to do anything with it for at least 7 days. After 7 days, I can taste it. If I like it, I can take it and put it in cans and can it. or if you don't like the taste of it and you want to keep fermenting it, you can ferment it up to 14 days. Afterwards, it just gets kind of mushy and nasty, so I wouldn't go much further than 14 days. For here, I like 7 days. Last year I did 14, which is why it ended up mushier than it was supposed to be, and also I cooked it before I canned it, which was kind of dumb. So I'm learning. Definitely gonna do just 7 days this time. Last summer I made sauerkraut. I went away on a trip for 2 weeks, and so it was Austin's job to take care of the sauerkraut while I was gone. So this time I'm here to babysit it. It's gonna be taken care of for 7 days, and then we will can it. Thank you guys for watching today's video. I hope we can keep going along this canning process. See you guys in the next one. Bye.